Morning, shutter clickers. We got up early this morning about 4 o'clock to get ready to come out here. We're at Lake Lago, and it's real foggy. I don't know if the camera will show it or not, but it's very, very foggy out. We can't even see the lake, barely see across the road here. And we're hoping for a inversion, and if we do, I want to do a big panoramic looking clear over to Lake Balboa and get the mountains in the background, this sort of thing. If we get an inversion. If not, why, we'll just get what we can get. So anyway, we're out here clicking for you, hoping we can get something decent. And if my cinematographer there will pan out, you can kind of see how we can't see anything. Right now, we're just going to have to wait. We'll probably be here about an hour before the sun gets up high enough to start lifting the clouds. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up, and we'll get ready to go here. Well, shutter clickers have been here hour and a half, going on 2 hours, and the fog just now is starting to lift a little bit. I don't believe we're going to get inversion, but as the fog lifts, it's going to look pretty good over here. Maybe, keeping our fingers crossed. So I'm still set up to do a panoramic. You know, when you're doing a panoramic, you have to do two things. You have to level your tripod first, and then you have to level your camera. Okay, I have a bald head there, and that's adjustable. Makes the camera go like so. Okay, but if the tripod's not level, when you rotate it, even if the camera is level on the bald head, why, it'll tend to dive or rise, and then you won't get a good picture. You won't be able to take those panoramic shots and mesh them together. And on this panoramic here, I'll probably get 6-7 shots as I pan across the mountains over there and down around to the lake. So, and we overlap them somewhere around 20% to 30% as I turn the camera. I'll take a picture, turn a little bit, take another picture, turn, take another, take another, take another, take another, like that. And that's the way you do panoramic. But remember, if you yourself do one, you got to level your tripod first. It has to be perfectly level. If it's not, you won't get a good picture. So she's going to take the camera now and kind of pan over there to show you what it's looking like. Because it's starting. I'm going to have to start taking some pictures because it's starting to look pretty good. Okay, I'm kind of waiting here. It's starting to kind of lift pretty good. I'm going to go and do another panoramic now. I've done 2, but the clouds are really good over there. And you always want to start a little further, and you always want to end up a little further than what you want in the shot. So I'm going to start way around here and just kind of come around. Shooting at a 25th of a second, f11, ISO 200. That's my first picture. Now I'll move it just a little bit, make sure I got overlap. My second picture. And 11. And I always like to put my hand out here. Take a picture of my hand. That'll tell me which shots are in that time frame. Okay, shutter clickers. We've been out here a good 2 hours now. And it was cold. And I'm sorry about the noise. I didn't think. You hear that? Every time I move, you hear that on the sound. And it's not the microphone's fault. It's my fault for wearing a hard shell jacket, because I know you can hear all that. I can hear it. But I'll do better next time. We've got some panoramic. We got some stills. How they're going to turn out, don't know until we get back and get it on the computer and take a look at it. If this turns out good, this will be our next video. If not, why then spring flowers will probably be our next video. But today we're trying to get some green, some fog. Hey, that's it for now. I'm going to pack up and go home. See you later. Bye now.
Whenever I'm off to find a sunset, a flavor of a memory. Whenever all the stars above are shining, then I know I'll never be alone. Wherever all my wishes may be heading.
Well, shutter clickers, we were out here yesterday and we were totally dissatisfied that we didn't get an inversion. And you've already seen that we left. We're back out here the next day, and the weather is totally different. There's no fog. There are a lot of clouds, some nice looking clouds. But the important thing is the trees, the leaves have bloomed, budded, whatever you call it. And so there's more color, and that's what we're really after. So we're going to take some pictures again today. As you can see, I got my tripod set up. We're shooting out over here to the lake, and I'm getting as high as I can. Gives a totally different view than when the camera's down this low. So I'm getting as high as I can to see if we can get a better picture, because I want more of the lake in the picture instead of just the tops of these close trees. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to get set up here and I'm going to take a picture, and I'll be using HDR. We got so much contrast between the clouds and the lake and the trees, the darkness of the trees, that either you got to use filters or you got to use HDR. And HDR is you get one picture as the camera adjusts and takes it. You get one picture that will be, in this case, I'm going to use 2 stops underexposed and 1 picture 2 stops overexposed, and then they're stacked by Lightroom on top of one another. That way I can have the dynamic range, a greater dynamic range, and we'll have better clouds, and we'll have better dark areas where they won't be either burnt out or where they're the dark is so dark that it's black and we don't get any definition at all in the color there. So I'm going to get set up and we're off and running. Okay, shutter clickers. Here's what HDR looks like. Here we have a 1/4 of a second, f11, ISO 100. That's one shot. Okay. Here we have a 1/40th of a second, f11, ISO 100. Here we have a 1/13th of a second, f11, ISO 100. So those are the three pictures that'll get stacked on one top of one another. And you'll get something that look like that, except there'll be definition in the clouds and stuff. And it just works out really well. It better than a filter, because a filter, here, let me get that off. A filter only covers, when you cover the sky up, well, now you're covering the trees up as well, as you can see there. Let me get the information off of that. There we go. See, so if I brought a filter down here like that, well, that makes the sky okay, but now the trees will be really dark as well. And then the ground down here would be just about right. So, you know, in this situation, the filter is not near as good as HDR. So that's what we did. That's how it works. And you're going to see the picture right now. Okay, shutter clickers, we're out here on day 4. What I'm saying here is day 1, we went out and we took some panoramic shots with the foggy. Day 2, the weather was totally different, and we took a couple of more shots. Day 3, we went out, nothing had really changed. The trees weren't really all that green, so we didn't take anything that day. And then, of course, day 4, that's where we are right here. We went out and we got one shot, totally different than the other shots, because there was some blue sky and this sort of thing. You'll see that at the end of this video clip. What I'm also saying here is that how the the lookout here is very, very important to the village. One of the biggest promotional assets we have is the beauty of the village, the mountains, the rolling hills, and the need to see those is very, very important when visitors come to the village. Not everybody that comes to the village will play golf. Not everybody will eat at every restaurant. When we get a pool, as nice as it'll be, not everybody will swim in that pool. But almost every visitor, and you know this as well, whenever friends and family come for the first time, the place you always take them is the overlook, to see what the village really looks like and how pretty it really is here in Arkansas. So I'm encouraging the POA to get busy and cut the trees down across the road. They're getting so tall that we no longer have a view. And of course, the brush up around the lookout is getting tall again. It needs to be cut down. You know, I just can't emphasize how important it is to the village when we have visitors that they're able to come up here and get a good look at what the village is really all about. See Lake Panada, or Lake Lago there. Also see Lake Balboa off in the distance in the mountains. It's really a pretty sight, but we're losing that sight as those trees grow too tall. Well, that's it for the day. One last thing to say. Be sure to share. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And in the meantime, summer's coming. Get out there and keep your shutter clicking. Bye now.